for that great trumpet herald and fanfare, and welcome to the Frazier History Museum, where we share the stories that matter to Louisville, to the people of our community, the people of Kentucky, and the world. My name is Penny Peebler, and I'm the Executive Director and President of the Frazier History Museum. We are so proud to be the one and only institution in the state of Kentucky to present the first folio, and we're excited to tell you about how you'll be seeing Will in the Ville over the next 8 months, because this really is a citywide initiative culminating here at the Frazier from November 10th to December 10th with the presentation of Shakespeare's first folio from the Folger. Such stuff as dreams are made on, to borrow a line from Shakespeare's Prospero in The Tempest. It is my honor to welcome our first speaker, a great friend of the Frazier and a man who really gets our community. As a woman who has spent her entire career in the tourism industry here in Louisville, it is meaningful to have Mayor Greg Fischer leading our city and promoting all of the great things that Louisville has to offer to both our citizens and to our guests. Mayor Greg Fischer is not only the right person to lead Louisville, but he is also our greatest salesperson. So Mayor, thank you so much for being here and for being a part of our community's life.
Okay, good morning everybody, and thank you Penny. I appreciate that. We'll keep working at it. No, it's always great to be at the Frazier. I think this is one of the wonderful museums in the world. There's always a surprise here, and there's always top quality here, and that's why people keep coming back to the Frazier all the time. Well, we can think about the past and we can think about the future. Last month, Dell Computing said Louisville is one of the most future-ready cities in America, and of course we're really proud of that. And then people are very excited also about Google Fiber and hopefully it coming to town real soon. And these are all types of things when we take a look at technology and opportunity. We want to position ourselves for the future. And you often hear me talk about the economy of the future and the jobs of the future. And since I've came to office, we've really emphasized this value of lifelong learning, because in a changing world, we know that the only thing that keeps changing is change. And lifelong learners are the ones that are going to thrive. But at the same time, as we move into the future, we have to bring history with us, because the achievements and examples and the lessons of history certainly can serve as guidelines and inspiration. That's why it's so important to have the Frazier Museum here as part of our thriving downtown. We've got tremendous momentum all throughout the city, but especially in our downtown. And it's why I'm grateful to Penny and Jane and the Frazier, to Dr. Pinto and the University of Louisville, to Jim Blanton and the Louisville Free Public Library for the work all of you and your teams are doing to bring the historic collection of Shakespeare's works to Louisville. The first folio and the programming of our citizens will have the chance to experience will be only possible because we've gotten tremendous support from a long list of community partners. 21C, Actors Theater, the Muhammad Ali Center, Asia Institute Crane House, JCPS, Kentucky Opera, Louisville Public Media, and many, many more. There's going to be some amazing and innovative work in arts and learning over the next several months on display all over our town on what we're calling Will in the Ville. And you got to think that Shakespeare would like that. It's kind of plucky. It's got a little attitude to it. You know, he's going to have a wry smile on his face. I can tell he looks pretty serious in that right there. But I can tell after a little bourbonism, he'll be feeling real good about this. So, you know, all this collaboration is nothing new here in our city. We're a city that really works well with each other. And when I compare us to other cities, you don't see that often. That's why we're the home of outstanding other programs when it comes to Shakespeare, like Shakespeare Behind Bars, which uses Shakespeare works in the theater process to help inmates and juvenile offenders develop empathy and social skills and confidence so that they can successfully return to society. Then there's the great example of Kentucky Shakespeare, which is another one of our community partners, and boy, how they've grown over the years. They're the oldest free Shakespeare festival in America, and they're right here in Central Park around the city. And if you haven't been to that, I encourage everybody to go. It's an amazing experience. They're also now developing a new program called Shakespeare for Veterans. And that program will use the Bard's work to help some of those who've served our country heal the psychological wounds of war. So Will and the Ville, in the first folio exhibit, really represents the spirit of our community partnership, innovation, and love for great art that are all part of our city's DNA. As Gremio says in Taming of the Shrew, "Oh, this learning, what a thing it is." Oh, thank you. I will not be confused for a Shakespearean actor, I can tell you that. So thanks everybody so much for putting this together. This is going to be a lot of fun over the next 6 months or so in our city as we can go here and there and see various activities that will lead up to the folio, which will be really inspiring. And I'm proud of our city being just one of the dozen cities in the country chosen for this great honor. So wonderful job to the Frazier and all involved. Congratulations.
And before I welcome Dr. Pinto up, I'd just like to ask again to give a round of applause to the almost 50 community organizations here that are standing behind me that are going to offer programming for 8 months around this historic opportunity that we have. Thank you, all of you, for your partnership. And now I'd like to invite Dr. Neville Pinto, Executive Vice President from the University of Louisville, to come and speak to us. Thank you.
Thank you and good morning. So what an event. We at the University of Louisville are very excited to partner with the Frazier Museum, the Louisville Free Public Library, and many other community partners here today to bring Shakespeare's first folio to our city. Our faculty and staff have worked enthusiastically and, might I say, even feverishly to offer a tapestry of programs that will leverage the first folio for the education and enjoyment of our students and the public at large. 13 academic departments already have programs planned. Here are some of the examples of what we have planned for these 8 months. The English department is collaborating on several projects, including lectures, workshops, and productions related to Shakespeare's works. Several other faculty experts will discuss Shakespeare and his work before the Kentucky Shakespeare Festival's production in July at Central Park, which is what the mayor had mentioned earlier. Our theater department will stage a production of King Lear through its African American theater program this October. Medieval and Renaissance Studies will run weekly gallery talks at this museum on items in the first folio exhibit. Creative Writing is collaborating with Walden Theater, Blue Apple Players, and the Louisville Water Tower on a program called Sonnets on a Sunday, which will combine Shakespeare's sonnets with poems composed by UFL undergraduates. And Liberal Arts will co-sponsor with the ACC, yes, the ACC, a public discussion and lecture by Professor Peter Holland from the University of Notre Dame in collaboration with Actors Theater in connection with their production of Macbeth. Other programs are in development, and we will provide a detailed list as they are finalized. Most will be free and open to anyone. We at the University of Louisville appreciate the opportunity to partner, and we are eager to make, in the words of the bard that we have here in Mayor Fischer, in making Will in the Ville a memorable success. Thank you very much.
And now I'd like to welcome Jim Blanton, who is the new director of the Louisville Free Public Library.
Thank you and good morning. Though Shakespeare lived 400 years ago, the legacy of his work continues. We find his words and stories in our schools, in pop culture, and even in the way we speak. Now we get to find him in our very own community. Having the first folio at the Frazier Museum means that we are making history tangible. And that's the goal of Will and the Ville. With programs ranging from performances to festivals and crafts to lectures, Will and the Ville aims to inspire lifelong learning in each of us. I'd like to highlight the library's role for Will and the Ville. We'll be hosting a variety of programming in all 18 of our locations in the months ahead, from Shakespeare-themed programs for kids and teens to book discussions and film showings to a college-level short course. And the library is especially excited to host our own exhibit called Shakespeare in Kentucky, which will explore the history of Shakespeare and Shakespearean performances in the state. This exhibit, which opens October 10th, is being curated in partnership with the University of Louisville and will include rarely seen photographs and artifacts from the collections of the Filson Historical Society, U of L Special Collections, and the Kentucky Historical Society, among others. For over 4 centuries, Shakespeare has demonstrated how storytelling can bring people together. Our community partnerships, dedicated to unifying the city through education and celebration, truly reflect this idea. We at the library are grateful for our partners and excited to be a part of Will and the Ville. Thank you very much.
And Jane Adam, who is the chairman of the board of the Frazier History Museum.
At the Frazier, we pride ourselves on producing world-class exhibits from our permanent collection, some temporary exhibits, and traveling exhibits. And of course, Shakespeare's First Folio is world-class. The New York Times and the Wall Street Journal have done stories about the 400th anniversary of Shakespeare's death and the celebrations it's inspiring around the globe. None of them are getting better reviews than the Folger Library's efforts to send the First Folio to all 50 states. At the Frazier, we're going to have expanded programming around Shakespeare. We're going to feature our great teaching artists who will perform up to 3 Shakespeare interpretations every day. And we'll have special programs for all kinds of groups: field trips, family days, professional development sessions for teachers, and weekly gallery lectures by University of Louisville faculty. Will is coming to the Ville, and the Frazier History Museum is delighted to host him. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane, and thank you all for coming. It is indeed a momentous occasion for our city. Today, we have on view a 4th folio from the University of Louisville's Archives and Special Collections. And also, Jordan and Grace are here from the Theater Arts Department at U of L. And I invite you to come and speak with these representatives from the many organizations behind us about the ways that we will all work together during Will and the Ville. We're fortunate that just 7 years after Shakespeare's death, some of the players and members of his acting company wrote down the words to these iconic plays. Without the First Folio, we would not have Macbeth and many, many other of Shakespeare's greatest plays recorded. So we're excited today, and we thank you for coming, and we look forward to a whole 8 months of programming around Will and the Ville. Thank you.